All of the things that we see happening in the world today, all of the legislation that's being put in place, all of the wars, the body scanners, the domestic surveillance, the brutish actions of our police forces, all of these things are opportunities for the human race. And all of these things are necessary so the human race receives the opportunities that these things provide. If we didn't have these opportunities, we would simply bumble along the way we have been for the last few hundred years. We would continue to allow ourselves to be controlled. We would continue to believe that money is real. We would still believe that we need governments to dictate what we can or cannot do. And all these governments do is actually restrict what we can and can't do. And a government that restricts what you can or can't do really has ceased to act in the best interests of the people it is supposed to be in care of. As said by author Robert Heinlein, when any government, or any church for that matter, undertakes to say to its subjects, "This you may not read, this you must not see, this you are forbidden to know," the end result is tyranny and oppression, no matter how holy the motives. And that quote certainly holds a great deal of relevance to people of modern times. I love a good quote, folks. I could read quotes all day. Maybe one day I should do a whole show of quotes. That would be interesting, wouldn't it? There's also another one by Michael Elner, which also comes to mind, which is also very relevant today. And he said, "Just look at us. Everything is backwards. Everything is upside down. Doctors destroy health. Lawyers destroy justice. Universities destroy knowledge. Governments destroy freedom. The major media destroys information. And religions destroy spirituality." That is a wonderful quote. Maybe I could do a show of George Bush quotes, folks. It would be like a comedy special, wouldn't it? I miss George W. Bush. Even though he was a murderous, black-hearted scumbag, he certainly was good for a laugh. It was almost like having one of the Marx brothers as president. But I guess it's not a good idea to delve into that topic at this late stage of the show. If I was to begin talking about George W. Bush now, we might find ourselves running a few hours overtime, as there is such a wealth of conversation to be had discussing the man. Very different to Obama. There's not really a lot to say about Obama. I mean, he's blatantly corrupt and completely stupid, but as far as personality goes, he really just doesn't seem to have any. Well, he's certainly not as much fun as George W. Bush was anyway. Well, we're getting close to wind-up time here, folks. I hope I haven't babbled on too much for you today. I really should prepare a little more before I do these shows, but sometimes there's just things on my mind that I would like to get out to you, and so that's what I do. I would like to take this opportunity to thank everybody who has emailed me and everybody who has ever shown support for the website. It's very much needed, it's very much appreciated, and as I've said on many occasions previously, it is only through the generosity and support of the listeners that I'm able to continue doing what I do. And so I thank you very much for helping me continue to get the word out to people. And I can only hope that you will continue to show me the support that you have, because it is extremely important that we do get this message out to the world. We are very much at a crossroads here, folks. We have a beautiful and wonderful future right there available for us, but we still have the choice to walk down the corridor into darkness should we choose to do so. And most people don't understand the choices that they are making. They don't even understand that the choice is there for them to make. They are, unbeknownst to themselves, simply being directed towards the dark corridor by those who control our governments. And it is extremely important that we help people become aware that they actually do have a choice to walk a very different path than the one they have been led down by government and by the corrupt financial institutions that control these governments. I still believe we can do it though, folks. I still believe we can wake up the entire world. I still believe that I can wake up Australia. I'd love to put a full-page ad in every newspaper in Australia telling them about what's going on. I'm sure that if I could do that, it would make a huge impact. So if anyone wants to help me do that, it would be great if someone made a specific donation with that in mind. I somehow don't think the $32 that I have in the bank is going to cover the cost of a full-page ad in every newspaper in Australia. But I seriously do believe that waking up Australia is a very viable possibility. We have less people in the whole of Australia than there is in one city in the United States, and so therefore statistically it would be easier to wake up the entire continent of Australia than it would be to wake up one city in America. And if we could wake up the people of Australia, even though we have a low population count here, it would still have the effect of waking up an entire country. And I believe that this would create a landslide. It would start a ripple effect that would be felt around the entire world. And that is still my mission, folks. So anybody who would like to help me do that, that would be a great thing to do. So here we are, folks. We've made it this far, and now we are standing at the crossroads. The choices are still open to us, and we can still choose to go in either direction. We can choose freedom, or we can choose enslavement. But there really is only those two choices. And though the choice of energy that we choose to embrace is an individual one, the real choice that will determine what the outcome will be and which road the human race takes will be a collective choice. Well, we're getting close to the end of the show now, folks, and so that is about it for me for the day. But before we go today, there is something that I would very much like to read to you. It's something that I'm sure you've heard before, but I wonder how many have actually paused to truly consider the importance of the following words. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitled them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed would dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same objective, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty, to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. And that's it for the show today, folks. Thank you very much for spending this time with me today. It's been a pleasure speaking to you once again, and I will look forward to the show next week. Take care until then. In Lakesh.